right, we're back. We did the AFC recap, and now we're on to the NFC recap. Let's get right into it, Bob. And we'll start with the NFC East
Can you?
Beast.
There you
So we
go.
both had the Commanders last year. Not much to say probably about them. You had the Giants probably right about you had them at 6-11, so right about where they
No, I
are. We both
didn't.
had the
No, no,
Eagles.
no. Hold on. I had them 5 wins, and I kept telling all my friends six if they're lucky. That's all they're getting. And I said that long before the fan, and now this guy's trying to take my credit because you go 5 or 6. Yeah, you're an idiot. How about that? I said it long before they did. Matter of fact, the guy thought they were gonna be like 9-8 when this first season first started. Then he changed up a couple weeks in. Oh no, 5 wins. That's it. I knew it before the season started, and I knew it because they're a tough schedule and they can win no more than 6. Which I said if they're lucky they'll win 6. But I have them down for 5, and that's what they are.
So
Focus,
we
Joe.
both had the Cowboys at 10-7. I don't see them losing the last two. So they'll be about right where we said. I mean, we had this division in order. Eagles, we had 12-5. You know, they should do 12-5 at least, maybe 13-4. Not much to say about this division other than, we called it
Right,
here.
right.
But
I called it
uh,
on the barrelhead. How about that? 5 wins.
yeah, I mean, you gave Washington 5 wins too, so I'll be interested to
They
see.
could
I
do
had
it.
them at 4.
Oh, you know what? If they beat San Francisco at home this week, they could do it.
Are
Yes,
you
they
betting
could.
that game? You betting the Commanders to beat the Niners?
No, no. I'm just saying if they manage to pull one of the last 2 games, they just managed to pull it out, they'll have the 5. So
I mean, I love Jacoby Brissett. I mean, him starting this week, he's got a hamstring injury. So, I had to pick him up for my fantasy team with Russell Wilson down. But, I was saying when the Jets had Aaron Rodgers go down, who was the first person I told you I wanted? I wanted us to go trade for Jacoby Brissett. He's a
right,
good quarterback.
right.
He's a very good backup. He's worth a start in this league. And people play for him. He is amazing. That's it. That's all you can say about him.
He's
And
definitely one
you
of the
know he
best
almost
backups out there.
he almost led that comeback against the Jets.
Yeah.
Last week. I mean, incredible. He's great. So
Um,
they could beat the Niners. They really could.
excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you. They
And the
could.
NFC West.
Um,
You had the Cardinals at 8-9.
yeah, well, again, they have a bad
Everything. They
they
had
were
a bad
doing
everything.
okay in the beginning, but they traded their quarterback.
They had Kyler Murray,
He's
and he was
he's fine.
injured coming into the season, and we knew it.
Right, exactly. So the guy that picked up for him was really good, and they turned around, and they trade him, which was to me, I didn't get it. And they sometimes some teams really want to lose, and I guess they do. Like,
He was
I
so
think the
good
one
he
thing
got benched by Minnesota
I do
for
not believe in Kyle
Nick
Murray.
Mullins.
He's a joke. I've never believed in the first day they drafted him. I was like, not only that, the guy has health issues. He's got a bad heart. I would never have done that. And but hey, they did it. And I actually like the other guy. Where did he go, by the way, when they traded him? Who did they trade him to?
Joshua Dobbs got traded to the Vikings, and then
Right.
he got benched after 3 games.
Well, but he seemed to be doing really well with the Cards. He was. And sometimes you don't want to take guys out of the situation. They don't play good in a different one, you know.
Well, they got so much money in Kyler Murray. I mean, when he came back, they knew they wouldn't be able to play Dobbs anyway. So
Okay, so who did you have? You had the Cardinals last place?
I had the Cardinals at 4-13. You had them at 8-9. I had
Right.
LA at 5-12. So did you. So LA's doing a lot better than we
Yeah,
expected them to.
yeah,
I'll tell you, Puka Nakua. Oh, that guy's amazing. He's a Cooper Cup
yes.
2.0.
Yes, he
He's
is.
awesome.
Yes.
And
Um,
we both had Seattle. I had Seattle 9-8. You had them 5-12.
I
So
had him
nine and
five
eight looks very realistic for Seattle for me.
right. Wow.
And then San Fran, you had them 12-5. I had them 13-4. So
Yeah.
both of those are still alive. But we had this pretty much set up the way that it's set up right now.
Right.
As far as who's in first, who's in last.
Mm-hmm.
But I
Uh,
think the 49ers are still the favorite to win the Super Bowl.
they are. Although Baltimore messed them up. They messed them up bad. In San Francisco. No,
I think Purdy will learn from the mistakes he made. I mean, two of the throws, not his fault. We had a receiver fall down. He had a tip ball. I mean, he threw four interceptions, and two were his fault,
right,
realistically.
right.
So
Um, I mean, they are the favorite, and they should. When you have the best record, you only have to play two games at home to get to the Super Bowl, and that's pretty easy. A lot easier than being 2, 3, 4. Um, and yeah, I mean, they're obviously the favorite. I would love to see them get beat this week to Washington. I don't think that there's any chance of that.
I don't see it happening.
No, but
The Commanders' defense is 32 in the league, and they looked it against the Jets, who are 32 ranked offense. I think the 49ers offense is going to put up historic numbers in the first half.
mm, yeah. Well, the games. I don't know about that. The game's on the road, so it's always a little closer on the road. But
We'll see.
yeah.
Hope for rain, I guess.
Huh?
Hope for rain, I guess.
If I'm watching, I pray for anything. Anything can help. But no, it's I don't. They have a two easy games, and they got to win them. Frisco has to win them because Philly has two easy games. And after this week, after tonight, because the Lions are playing. If the Lions should win that game against the boys, their last game's easy. They play Minnesota at home and kill them, unless they don't play nobody. But I think they're gonna because they want the better record. So, yeah, go
I
Lions.
wouldn't I wouldn't chalk that up as so easy. But let's talk about the Lions. I mean, we both had
Wait a
them winning the
minute.
division here. We both had them. You had them 11-6. I had them 9-8. 11-6 is still very much in play.
Right.
Uh, we had the I had the Bears second. I was going for a shot in the dark. But at 8-9, it's doable. If they win
Hey,
those last two games, we got them sitting at 8-9.
hey, you know what?
Um,
First of all, Lions. Yeah. How could you not think they were good? How could you think they were going to be 500? They're good.
I said 9-8. There is no 500 in this league anymore.
Well, but 9-8 is the closest thing. I mean, you're barely over. Like, why would you think that?
Well,
I
I
was
didn't think that
thinking
their
because you started
offense was going to
thinking
be top five in the league like this. This
you,
is
you you can't wait till I'm off on one pick. You've been like attacking, so now it's my turn. What the hell are you thinking? The Lions are good.
I had them winning the division. I don't know what you're thinking.
Yeah, but at 9-8, I mean, they're better than that, John.
They could go 11-6, which is exactly what you chose, and they would only be two wins above
Well,
what I
with all
said.
due respect, they're probably going to lose to Dallas. That's going to be 11-5, John. It's going to be right there.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
And then they could win. They could lose against Minnesota. That's a divisional game, and why not try to screw your guys out? Your divisional opponent over.
Oh yeah, no, that's not happening. Minnesota stinks. They ain't winning enough, especially in Detroit. That game's in Detroit. No, no, they're not. Um, but
I did not call the crime rate dropping the way it did, though. I'm very glad to see the people of Detroit. Well done. Good job. Support your team and don't kill everybody. Good job.
right. Then on the other hand, if they burn the city down, would anybody care? Just it's Detroit. But
Um,
that was a joke, sort of.
Packers. I think Jordan Love has surpassed our expectations for him. We didn't think he was going to be very good, and he's had some ups and downs, but he's been better than we thought overall.
No, I thought he was going to be pretty good, John. I don't think he was going to be great, but he's pretty solid. I mean, by the way, they're 7-8. Yeah.
You had him with 6 wins. I had him with 4.
Oh man,
They
see,
surpassed our
and
expectations.
well, not mine. Well, when it's only one off, not really. I mean,
I mean, the lines are only 2 off of mine right now, and you're crucifying me.
yeah, but well, it's not that. I mean, you were like 9-8. That's not two. First of all, they only have four
It's
losses.
2 wins off. It's 2 off in the win column.
Yeah, but it's not gonna be. They're gonna win again. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and but it's they yeah like there's no way the Vikings are going to beat them, and it's just not happening. And Green Bay, they're pretty good, which I thought they would be. I didn't think they were going to be great. How can you be after Aaron, left? I mean, that's a a thankless quarterback job, and I don't think I'd want it. Because they're not going to be good for a pretty long time unless they luck out and get some kind of great pick. Um,
If Jordan Love, pans out like they were hoping he was gonna, I mean, they'll be good. They'll be competing for the
Well, I think
division.
he's, you know what? I think he's panning out, at least for me, the way I thought he would pan out. Pretty good, not great. Not super great. See, again, this comes from the fact that the media, the fake media out there, because they're lying about everything. They're the hype media. And they'll turn around and try to make you listen to them. And they'll say stuff. And I worked at ESPN, so I know. I mean, they'll say stuff that you're like, oh, it's almost like they're cheerleaders. They're trying to rally you on board. But if you sit and think about what they're saying, you're like, this guy can't be for real. This team ain't that good. And which happened with the Giants. I mean, I absolutely 100% knew they were going to stink. And people, my friend was like, "Oh, you tell me we're not going to make the playoffs this year?" I go, "Now you got it. You lucked out last year. You weren't that good." And now, and every week, all you got to do is think about DeVito, right? I mean, and everybody loves him, and where we are.
Tommy Cutlets,
Yeah, chicken cutlets,
Don
but
Bosco.
the Bosque, yes, you know what? Yeah, I love the Bosque, um, but no, like these, everybody jumped on his bandwagon, and I got to tell you, when he won those 3 games, I'm driving, and I'm like, you wait, they're gonna brag about them and do the same thing they did with the Jets a few weeks earlier, and they did. Oh, we're only 1 game back in the last spot. Oh, yeah, you play 3 garbage teams. That's why. And my friend even started believing it because he's kind of deluded. Giant fans are deluded, and like, they, he was like, "Oh, we got a chance." I go, "What are you saying?" He goes, "Yes, Pop, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, even if it's not real. I just want to live in the moment." I go, "The moment's gonna die." Some other friend texted me, he goes, "Let's go out." When they were playing the Saints, I go, "The Saints are gonna beat you so bad. You ain't beating them." And like they did. So, you got to remember it's who you're playing. Like Miami, like I told you before, 9 of 11 games in the middle of that year were against dirt easy teams. It matters who you play. And you can sit there and lie to yourself all you want, especially if you like the team. You yeah, oh sure, we're great. We got to win those games. Yeah, you do. But when the big moment comes, you're not going to be playing those lousy teams. Can you win them against the good teams? Is the question. I mean,
And
the league.
I think that's the name of the game for the NFC South here.
Yeah,
A good segue over here because they're notably always bad. There's very few years where somebody makes it too far in that division,
Brady,
minus, the
Brady.
one Falcons year and Tom Brady coming to the Bucks and, you
Well,
know,
and Drew Brees all those years, he was great.
yeah, yeah. But even then, I mean, he'd win the division and, you know, I mean,
They won one year.
he won one year,
In the beginning of his career,
get
they
screwed
they
a
had no
couple of
defense,
years, but
John.
by the
John,
refs, but
They had a great offense when he got there in the very beginning with the Saints, but he didn't have no defense. The year they actually got him, when they started kicking people on the field when the ref wasn't looking and they cheated a little bit, that's when they won. When they beat the Colts, that's what they did. They got away with it. They got away with it.
yeah,
So,
and they screwed him back that year against the Rams. I mean, they
mhm,
would have won it all that year easily, you
mhm.
know.
Okay, so you must be happy because the Baker boy's doing good, huh?
Oh, I love to see it. I hope Baker wins this division. I told you Baker was the quarterback of that draft. I wanted the Jets to get him. I've loved him since watching him at Oklahoma, win the Heisman there. I mean, he's awesome. Yes, he's not going to be the greatest quarterback ever. I never said that, but I think he's an absolute starter in this league. And
Yeah,
this proves it to me. The Browns made a mistake by letting him go, in my opinion. All
yeah.
right. And then all he's done is go to the Buccaneers and just ball out. I mean, his stats are better than Mahomes. So, if you
Yeah,
look at it,
well,
26 touchdowns, 8 interceptions versus Mahomes 12.
yeah. Well,
So
it's only one year. He had to say he had a tough year. I
I'm
mean,
not saying it's not a knock on
how long is that
Mahomes.
going to
It's
last, John? It's
not
one
a
year,
knock on Mahomes.
right?
Don't take it personal. It's me just showing how good Baker can be. That's
The
it.
big, you know what? I actually bet against them, Tampa Bay, and one week, and I forget they were playing a nothing team. Oh no, they were playing a pretty good team, and I bet against them. And the Baker boy I think it was the Saints actually, and the Baker boy just lit them. I mean, yeah, and then I realized I'm like, not only the team's responding to him, say the wide receivers are responding, and he's got a great arm. He was a great player in college. But and I'm like, oh boy, they're going to win a lot more games than I thought. You know,
He throws a high ball
forget
very often, and Mike Evans being the number one wide receiver on that team for the last decade, he is a high ball receiver. He goes up and grabs it at the highest point and pulls it down, and he's a touchdown machine. And that combination, I think, makes a huge difference, on that offense.
right. No,
So,
they're playing very well. They're the only team over 500. Um, did we? Who do we have winning that division? The Falcons.
so yeah, we weren't too close. We had New Orleans at 12-5,
Right.
which injuries cut that dream a little short.
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
Derek Carr was supposed to be the savior. Alvin Kamara being out the start of the year. I mean,
he's
he's
great.
had a really great year, but without him, the first start of the season, it was tough for them. They didn't have a running back. Who was their backup? I don't even remember.
Yeah,
Jones?
I don't know. Hill was probably the running back, the backup.
Yeah,
But yeah,
Taysom Hill. He should have been. He's
yeah,
he's a good player. He's just a
right.
footballer, man. He don't have a position. He just plays. You had Atlanta 11-6 as the number two in that division. I have them also the number two. I had them 8-9. They're right about that 8-9. Number third, you had Carolina and Tampa Bay tied at 6-11. So bit off there.
But they're better than we.
I had Tampa last at 3 wins, so I
Wow.
was very off there. Carolina, I had 5 wins, so a bit off there as well. But
Mhm.
this division, we said it. It's up in the air. You don't know who's gonna. We said very well that Carolina Panthers could come out and just look really good. We said the Falcon. You said you thought the Atlanta might take over New Orleans and win the division. They're still right in the
They
hunt
can.
there.
They actually can.
So we'll see. I mean, I think Heineke being the quarterback over Ritter, I think makes a huge difference. He's a solid quarter. He was solid for
Yeah.
the Commanders.
I don't know why they gave him up because I got to tell. I'm glad you brought that up. That's a good segue in because I was going to bring up Hal. Okay, and he's garbage, and I can't believe that they believed in him and he's great, great. After 2 games that I watched him, first 2 games of the year, I knew right away. I'm like, this guy's terrible, and I'll tell you why, John. It's really strange when a quarterback, a really good one, has uh not broad shoulders, like out that way, but kind of in. They're great when they have this, square and big. And they're terrible, and I've noticed that over the years. They don't. Darnold's a good example. He had those shoulders with the Jets and SC really, and you got to be like Brady never had that. He was just kind of scrawny when you looked at him, and he was tough. You take a hit, but he never had that. I just don't believe physically those kind of guys are built to play quarterback.
Didn't
And
Warner have those shoulders though?
uh, I
I'm pretty
don't
sure
know.
Warner
I'd
had
have
those
to
square
think back.
shoulders, and he's a great quarter. He was a great quarterback.
I know, but I'd have to think back on that and watch him again. But as a rule, when you have that kind of I actually text Doc Walker, who was the tight end for the Joe Gibbs teams.
You told him your square shoulder story?
No, I told him, what the hell are you doing? Play Kobe percent. I told him that I go, who's your backup? This Hal. I did say this Hal kid stinks. I told him. I did tell him that, honestly. Not even lying. I go, he's garbage. He's not that good. I go, who's your backup? And he goes, Kobe Brissett. I go, play him. Play him. And I love the fact he's going to play this week, is he not?
As long as that hamstring holds out, he's got the hamstring injury, and I think he's their best chance to win more games.
Yeah. Yeah, because the other guy didn't. And he was terrible on the road. He wasn't all that great at home either. He's better at home, but I don't believe in the guy. And I said, I remember telling him, who's your backup? And he goes, Kobe Brissett. I go, play him now. I go, he's really good. You need to do that. And they didn't. They kept with Hal. And I told him, I go, Hal's not that good. I told him. So I didn't talk about his broad shoulders, but I could have. I could have. just the way he's built. Some players aren't built to play quarterback. They're just not.
I
And
think this leads to that whole, everybody wants the superhero for their franchise. They want the next Tom Brady, they want the next Peyton Manning, they want the next Drew Brees. I mean, just go be a good football team, right? Build around a quarterback and just have somebody that's not going to turn the ball over and make the right play.
yeah, but no, if you do that, then you're becoming the Alex Smith of the world. A nice little guy that throws nice little short passes and is a nice guy off the field. And he manages things. He couldn't manage a cooking contest, but and he doesn't win anything. And then I can't throw it deep, so that they're going to jump the route and intercept. And then I'm going to get pummeled 1,000 times and get hurt. That didn't mean anything. But he's nice because we like him. I don't care. You know what? I don't care about your feelings. I care about winning. And fans and media is dumb. John, they're seriously dumb. They don't have the insight to see who's really good and who's really not. So, yeah, very few people have it. But I mean, it's very rare. And I can look at a guy one time and know he's going to be good or he's going to stink. And I mean one time, not even 10 times. And I'm right 99% of the time. So, and you have the fan like. And by the way, and we'll get
So
into
you're
that.
saying they should go after the home run quarterback and try to get the all-time great at all times, at all costs.
Yes, because that's the most important position. And then you
So
could.
they should see what they need to do with Howell. They should be playing Howell and
I'd,
seeing if
I'd
he's a
sell
good
him.
quarterback.
I'd sell him down the Redskin River. That's just me. But
No, my point was, play Jacoby Brissett. He's the better quarterback. Let Howell sit behind him. Let him, you don't have to play Howell to see if he's going to be great immediately to try to win it all just on the shoulders of Howell. Play Jacoby Brissett. You have a good quarterback. You have an established quarterback. Try to win games. Try to make it to the playoffs.
John, the quarterbacks, the center in basketball, the power hitter in baseball, they're irreplaceable. And when you get a chance to get them, you get them because the rest of the guys around them, you can pick anybody up that they're just okay players to fit in, but you need the stars. And I would definitely, if I was an owner, I would be looking for that quarterback. I would.
My issue with that is that quarterback doesn't present themselves as that immediately in college, like in high school.
I don't agree with
They'll
that.
be good, but like you still have that learning curve once you make it to the NFL.
Yeah, but
You
so
don't
can
know if they're going to be an all-time
no,
great
no,
until
you
they.
do. If you watch them, you know. Hey, I knew Mahomes was going to be great in college. I wanted him
Well,
really
why did
bad
Brady go in the sixth round?
because there's always hidden gems. Um, that's why. But he was rare. Most people that go in the sixth round don't make it. Not like that. And but you have to remember there's exceptions to every rule. So, I can look at a guy and know right away. I'm just like, this guy's really good. This guy, nah.
I mean, Russell
And
Wilson's really good. He didn't go in the first round,
yeah, I
right?
know. Well, I don't know. What round did he go in?
I thought he
I don't
went in the,
really
the
remember.
second round.
Well,
I mean, there's been
okay.
quite a few really good quarterbacks that have gone outside the first round.
Okay.
There's
But
the
but
quarterbacks have been more bust than
but
boom
second
going
round
in the
isn't
first
that
round.
far. But second round isn't that far fetched from the first because there's a lot of teams that won't pick a quarterback because they don't need one. So these guys slide down. They can slide into the second round. But the sixth, like you said before, no, nobody does that. And a good example, wasn't Jones a sixth round? Daniel Jones? He should have been. That's
No,
what it
he
was.
was he was like eighth overall, 10th
Yeah,
overall, something like that.
but people were saying that if he was around in the sixth round, nobody would have picked him. That the Giants still could have got him. And I believe that. And but no, I don't, I don't
I mean, Trevor Lawrence was supposed to be the next coming of Andrew Luck. You know what I mean? The next great quarterback.
I never really like look, I know he was good in college. I never really was super high on him there though. I thought there were times when he played, he easily could have lost some games, but they didn't. But I just I watched the guys sometimes instead of the team. They were the best team. Was it Clemson, right? And yeah, like you have to have an idea, and I do. I mean, you were telling me about the Baker boy, how he's going to be better than Mahomes. I didn't believe that. I mean, it didn't. So, and that was a stab in the
I
dark,
don't think we
John.
had that debate. We
No,
debated
we
Josh
did in the
Allen.
car, not here, but in the car. We did. And when we were going to the Yankee game. So um I don't believe it in, I do think the Baker boy is good. Like he really is. But
We debated Baker and Josh Allen because Mahomes wasn't part of that draft.
no, it was Mahomes. Because you were telling me it. Well, no. But you were like telling me that he's better. And I'm just like, no, he's not. And that was, you know what? I just didn't think so. I knew Mahomes was good when I saw him at Texas Tech, right? 7 touchdowns in a game, man, against the
But
Baker.
Mahomes' rookie year, he went off.
Well,
Or
wait a
well,
minute.
his
Wait a
first
minute.
year starting.
No. When the Baker boy was in college, that 7 touchdown game was against the Baker boy in Oklahoma. They threw for 7 touchdowns each in that game for over 700 yards each. They both did. So yeah, that's right. And I watched that game, and it was my turn, your turn. It really was. And but I like
Oh,
Mahomes
if we were
better.
talking about if we were talking about college career, I mean Baker did have a better college career.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
But
so I
but I
wasn't
did.
wrong.
But
That's
no, you
but I didn't
were
debate
because
him in the
but
I
no,
didn't
no, no,
debate him
no.
in
See, but
the NFL.
I wouldn't have picked the Baker boy. See, I because it's all of a sudden you're not in college anymore when you
But
get
they
picked.
weren't in the same draft.
Yeah, but I wouldn't. But Mahomes was if look, but they played at the same time in college. Yes, they did. And like
Okay.
I would have taken especially the first year. And the first year he didn't play very much, but just by watching him coming out of college and then watching him in the pros in his early career, I knew right then he's better. And like, and it's before everybody else knew it because I told you ESPN was saying he's a high school quarterback at best. Chiefs blew the pick. And you know who's mad about it? The Bills, because they were going to pick him and they traded the pick. So, you know, if he was the quarterback in that crazy game against the Chiefs for the Bills would have won. They almost did anyway, but they definitely would have won. And like, and if would have won the Super Bowl, they were good. Both teams were great that year. But yeah, I can't explain it, John. I just look at him and go, that's the right pick. That's the right guy. And I sure as hell wanted him because my first thought was he's the anti-Alex Smith. Can we get him on the team somehow? You know?
And they
And
did, and they sat him for a year.
they did because everybody why? Because the media, how stupid they are, and the pressure from the fans and the media. Oh, he'll learn under the tutelage. Oh, he's got to be prepped. No. The only thing he can learn from Alex Smith is how to throw a 2-yard pass and get it picked off. That's it.
I mean, you say that like Alex Smith is like a Jets quarterback.
He should be.
He would have been better than all of our quarterbacks since friggin'
I never
Ryan
believed in
Fitzpatrick.
him. I never believed in him. And you know what? I
I would
know.
have taken Alex Smith absolutely because I don't have a guy that can hit a 2 yard
Well,
pass.
that's it, John. You would have took the sanitation guy in the street if he could throw a football. I mean, the Jets are that kind of bad. But like, um, no, I never liked him, and he would have been great with the Jets because you know what? Not great, but the Jet fans would have bought into it. He's such a nice guy. We're not winning, but he's better. We're better than what we were, and he's a nice guy. No.
I mean, that's if we would have had him over Mark Sanchez way back when, we're Super Bowl champions.
Well, I don't know about that because something always goes
You
wrong
don't
with
think he's that much better than Mark Sanchez? So
him.
you're
Oh,
saying
he's
that
better than
Alex
Mark
Smith is the
Sanchez,
okay. Well, that's all we
but
needed was a little bit better than Mark Sanchez.
uh, I don't know, John. I don't agree because if you're the Jets, everything goes wrong, and
Oh,
yeah,
so you're just drinking Kool-Aid.
no, what Kool-Aid? I'm being
The
honest.
one
I
that
don't
you
like.
created. The Jets are cursed. That all that whole
No, they are
hubbub.
cursed. But even with that, um, he's not. He's serviceable. That's what they call him, serviceable. It means he's good for the time being.
Means he's a starter in this league.
Yeah, but he's serviceable. He's never going to win you the super big games. He's not. He's just not. And I'll tell you, I said this before. In the late '90s, Gannon was the quarterback. When Smith got hurt, or no, Elvis Grayback. He got hurt, and Elvis was just about as good as Alex Smith. And but the minute Gannon got there, I knew, and they rolled off like 10 wins in a row. And then the shit piece of crap got back in the playoffs, and the coach decided to play him. And I'm like, you got to be kidding. And they're playing Denver at home in a playoff game. And Denver takes a 10-0 lead. And in the second half, they couldn't move the ball. All of a sudden, they yanked him out of the game. They put Gannon in. They scored a late touchdown. It's 10-7. But it was too late because the game was over. And they would have killed Denver. Elway wouldn't have won his second one. He wouldn't have. And it was so Greg Lloyd broke his leg. And I said, that's the best break Kansas City got all year. I remember saying it. I mean, and he was an animal. Oh, that guy for the Steelers, he was an animal. But no, John, I just don't think he's very good, Smith. He can put up all the stats he wants, but when you throw the ball 5 yards every play, like he's like Tua in a way.
I mean, Brady
5
made a
yards.
career out of it, so I don't see what the issue is.
The issue is he's not good enough to win it. And they should have never rest Mahomes because the first year, because when you got that kind of a super talent, sitting on the bench does nothing but take a year off your life. It's pathetic. And under the tutelage, get the heck out of here with that nonsense.
I wish the Jets would have a nice veteran come in and we can have a quarterback sit behind him because that's how you learn. I mean, these guys, you watch Sam Darnold come in, you watch Zach Wilson come in, and there's no offensive line, and they have to actually get the ball out faster than the average starting quarterback in the NFL, and they can't because they're not ready. They're not up to that level of pressure. They're not with the timing. Their timing is wrong. They don't have it yet, and they haven't seen it before.
So you would have
they
wanted
go
Alex. You would have wanted Alex Smith back then. Is that what you're telling me?
absolutely over Geno Smith. Yeah, absolutely.
You would have been screaming at him and ready
You
to go.
want you think the Jets are better off Geno Smith over Alex Smith?
No, no, I don't.
Come on.
I don't. But you would have been screaming at Alex when things didn't go right. You would have been, and that's the thing. Like New York fans, they think
Versus screaming at what? I scream all the time because I'm a Jets fan.
that's true. But you wouldn't have been screaming at him. You wouldn't have been sitting there going, "I love him. I wish he was our quarterback." No, you wouldn't. And but and you know what? The New York fans do it every week. And weirdly enough, the week before, the fan, and I knew it was coming. They're like, "Oh, the Jets won this week. I think they're back." I'm like, "I think they played an easy team, and you're out of your mind." And then the week after, "Oh, the Giants! Oh," I'm like, how do you guys get your job? Because you're not very smart. Like you're not. And like the only one I actually liked was Tiki. And he's a giant. But you know what I'm saying? And when Benigno comes on, I like him because he screams on top of his lungs with the Jets. I mean, it's just
Tiki's got to put them in their place on that. That network is atrocious. Just the way that they.
oh, it's horrible. They ought to fire every one of them and look for new radio hosts. They really should. They stink and they're stupid. And look, I understand the guy's a Jet fan. The one guy. I don't know if it's Evan. I don't
Yeah, the
know.
one that wants Robert Sala to scream at everybody's face,
Yeah,
when they
yeah,
know that they made a mistake, just to let them know again, by the way, you made a mistake.
right. Well, Did you hear what he said when they asked him that question? They asked him the question. How come you're not getting in the? He goes, "What do you want me to do? Overthrow the podium, pick it up, and throw it?" I mean, yeah. I
Yeah, how does
mean,
that help anything? You
right.
got to be stupid to think that that's going to help.
Sometimes you can be tough on certain players, though, John. They need that because they're tough. And the soft ones, though, you can't do. You got to know who's soft and who's not. You got to know each player. You got to be like a psychologist. Each player you got to handle different. You got to. Some of them
You never show them up
don't
though.
respond unless you scream at them. That's true.
You never show them up though, because then they shut down. That's the thing. So when you get in the media, when you're in the public eye like that, in practice behind closed doors, you coach them how you got to coach them. But when you're on the football field and the cameras are on, you start screaming in their face and showing them up.
Yeah.
What happens when you do that to a ref? They come back at you, right? What
Right.
happens when you do that to a player? They shut down,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
You got to think about it like it's an umpire in the MLB.
Oh, those guys. Mm.
They
And by
only
the
do
way,
wrong after you do that.
right. Yeah, but I mean, to me, I just don't. I can see who's good and who's not. And these guys, they put so much pressure today, the fans and the media, on teams, and teams are starting to listen to them. I wouldn't listen to them because every 99% of the people have dumb ideas, and it's only going to make the team worse if you did it. Um, I wouldn't. I think that's why your Yankees got Soto because I don't think they're going to keep him. I was mad when they got him, very. But the Dodgers getting all those players made me happy. you know. But no, they're still talking about him being a rental. When's the last time George Steinbrenner had that problem? He didn't. He just sewed him up. He got him and he sewed him up. You only got him because he's on the last year of the deal, and I think he's going to walk because they're not going to pay him 325 million next year.
I mean, who's they? Is that the same people that Tiki has to educate all the time?
No, the Yankees. I'm
Oh,
talking
the
about the
Yankees
Yankees.
have announced he's a rental. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, they have many times. He's a rental. He's a rental.
I'll have to look that up because I didn't see anything where they said that he's
Well,
a
I know
rental.
your Yankee blind spot often blinds you to the truth, but no, they really did. And I kept saying that shows me. And look, Hal already said he's not going over 300 million mark. He's going to want 325 next year. He's not going to do it. They're talking about him being a rental. I've never heard anybody in the past, Jackson, Winfield, any of those guys, be rentals when George brought him in. Never. They're not the same. And you just lucked out because the media pressured the Yankees, and Cashman wanted people off his back, so he had to do something. And the other thing you lucked out on, the San Diego owner died. If he didn't die, I don't think you would have got him. He died just at the end of the season this year. He did. I don't think you would have got him. But and you know, there was this guy on Twitter. He was a Yankee fan. He goes, per source, they're getting all three. Per source, they're getting Bellinger and Yamamoto. And I go, you ain't getting any of them. And then he got back to me. He goes, aha. I go, I still think you're not getting the other two. And then all of a sudden he disappeared because I knew. And like, no. Mm-mm. And then my friend texted me, he goes, oh, Magic Johnson's stacking the team again. Because he's with the Dodgers. I'm like, right. But this time I was gonna text him back, but I didn't want him to lose his mind because he's very touchy, temperamental. I'm gonna say, Yankees did it for years, go cry somewhere else. We had to put up with that crap for years, you stacking the team. I don't want to hear it. And it's true. You did it since Babe Ruth. I don't want to hear it. So you know what? Go Magic Johnson, that little. I'm a Celtic fan, so I still hate him. But I think that's the only reason you got him, John. I'm not going to lie. And I think he's going to leave next year unless you really fountain up and give him a lot of money. I don't
Well,
think.
I haven't seen anything where the Yankees came out as a statement and said that we are not re-signing him.
No,
Uh,
they're not going to say that.
they announced
They're
that they
using the
would
word rental.
they would revisit contract talks at the end of this year, because quite honestly, Soto had a down year by his standards last year. So
What if
you
things
have to
don't
see
go?
what you have in him
If things
first.
don't go good for the Yankees, you may trade him at the deadline because you could lose them. Yeah, yeah, you could. And the Dodgers are my new favorite team. Mets suck. Yeah, they do. And you know what? The thing of what Cashman said, well, Otani didn't want us, and this. I don't believe any of that because you know what? That's what you say when you didn't get somebody to get the pressure from the fans and media off your back. The Mets did that for years. Well, we tried to get him. No, you tried to get the water boy and overpay him. That's what you did. No, you didn't try to. And I remember one year, one of the players, I forget who it was back then, he goes, Mets never offered me anything. He slowly threw him under the bus, which I suspected the whole time. I knew the Mets, and now the Yankees are doing. I told you, you're the new Mets, and we should be the new Yankees. But this guy, I don't know what the hell he's doing. Get your ass in gear and get the players.
He's trying his hardest. We only got a couple seconds left, though. So, anything you want to say to Steve Cohen before we go?
Yeah, get your tail in gear, and you know what? Get the players we need to get. And you have the money. You're the new sniper. Don't call up Cashman and go, well, I don't want to sign Judge to hurt your feelings. Because George Steinbrenner hated the Mets so much, he lost a preseason game and busted up the clubhouse.
Yeah, and make sure you re-sign Soto. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Listen, guys.